Well, I'm Sergio with zZounds, and we're here talking with Brad Paisley about his new Fender signature Telecaster. And I gotta say, it's a beauty of a guitar. As far as how this all came about, I heard there were a lot of prototypes on the road. And can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Well, we tried some different things with this, and I wanted to make sure it was the right weight. I knew a neck shape that I thought it ought to be, and you know, on top of that, another important part of it's the pickup. That's got to be right. This sort of soup that becomes a guitar, it's a really difficult thing to get a combination that always works, that you know you can mass produce.
Right.
And it was also important to me that we do this in a way that's not going to be cost prohibitive to the everyday working musician. And I'm really thrilled. It couldn't have come together better than it did. Just the idea that, first of all, the finish is so cool. It's such a great look. It's just relic enough that you're not worried about getting a ding on it. It's already happened.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, every one I've ever picked up feels the same to me. It just feels exactly right. I told him about the weight that I wanted to get this to be consistent at, because I feel like that's as important of a part of what makes a guitar resonate or consistent. Because you could play an 8.5 or 9 pound Telecaster and then find one that's 6 pounds.
Right.
And you can imagine those are two different instruments. Same electronics, same neck, and throughout time they've fluctuated like that. But when it comes to something like this wood is a lot more consistent in terms of its weight. Mm-hmm. And what they found was they had to combine spruce with this. And when you think about the great acoustic guitars of all time, they all had some sort of spruce in them. Mm-hmm. And there's no reason why that kind of wood wouldn't have the same effect on something, even, you know, that's electric, that's plugged into something.
And you were talking about the pickups. I mean, you got a custom 64 wound pickup. You got a Twisted Tele pickup in there. What was it about those pickups that you're just like, oh, I gotta have those?
Well, it was the combination of that in this guitar. Like, once I explained to them what I was looking for, and they listened to some of my guitars, my 68 Tele, my 53 Tele, some of these ones that have really great, remarkable things. They looked at them. They studied a bit about what was making them what they are. Uh-huh. And yeah, this was the right amount of windings, and it needed to be. It's actually a little bit of a hotter pickup than I have in some other guitars, and it has to do with how it interacts with the wood.
Right.
And they really, Tim that winds them, he figured it out. He just figured out, this is what this guitar needs. This is gonna be magic.
Yeah, that's totally cool. Can you tell me a little bit about that neck on there? You know, it's like.
Have you felt it?
Yeah, I felt it a little bit earlier. I mean, like, it's a nice chunky neck. I like it a lot.
It's a slight V.
Yeah.
It's really a 52. I mean, I've got a 52 Tele that has, I mean, it's almost identical.
Right.
Especially even this angle. Mm-hmm. In the 50s, they had that really, really quick.
Yeah, it does look pretty steep there.
Really quick thing.
Yeah.
As well as the radius, everything about it.
Yeah.
It feels like a 50s Tele.
Yeah, and I do love, you know, it's like I already got some checking going on the neck too. I really thought that was a nice touch. Was having it road-worn something that you wanted to do, or is that just having a nice worn-in look?
Yeah, I don't want something brand new, pristine, that's all lacquered up.
I hear
you can't. I mean, I'm the first one to beat up a guitar, so I like the fact that it's always going to be like that. And there's something about, I've got a few guitars that naturally have this gone.
Yeah.
And there's something about the bare wood on your arm.
Yeah.
That you connect with this a little bit more. I just hope I see guys playing this. It'd be fun to show up in a town and some opening act, some local band.
Yeah.
They've got one.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. It'd be neat to also see what they do to this. Like, do they change the neck pickup? Do they do do they change I don't know, what do they do to the finish of it? Do they put stickers on it?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
These aren't precious. Do whatever you want. Make it yours. Change
the
pickguard, whatever. If you don't want Paisley, if your name's Plaid, put Plaid. I don't care.
Stripe, you know,
right, something.
Put that on there.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So, I gotta ask you, I heard a little something about a comedy special.
Yes. I love writing things that are humorous.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've done something that's 100% supposed to be humorous.
Yeah.
As opposed to throwing a song that's kind of funny on an album, or hosting the CMAs where you do a monologue with somebody like Carrie, who's so good at being part of that duo.
Yeah.
But getting up and sort of walking this tightrope without a neck, I've done that a couple of times, and now this thing's coming out in August, and we taped it at Zany's here in Nashville.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to be able to sort of show that side of my personality. I've always loved the way that music allows you to get away with some of these things that honestly you wouldn't even attempt if you weren't a musician.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, the love of the crowd is, shared between musicians and both comedians. So, how's it different up there, than playing music, playing guitar in front of a bunch of people?
It's not a lot different because you're trying to do something that creates a reaction.
Yeah.
With a guitar, it's like you play a solo or a song that they love, and you feel that call and response thing. With jokes, it's the same thing. It's like, I know this is going to get them to sort of react.
Sure.
And so it's like riffs. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all just riffs.
Well, so, okay, my last question here is you're obviously closely associated with a Fender Telecaster.
Yeah.
And, I feel like it'd be safe to assume that a guy like you has this choice of guitars out there. What is it about the Tele that just keeps you coming back?
Well, it's my influences. I mean, when I think back to like Buck Owens and Merle Haggard and Vince Gill and these guys. Their sound was one of these guitars, and there's something inherently country immediately when you play a certain way with one of these.
Yeah.
I mean, it calls for a lot of that twang and that thing that you associate with the town we're in right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the instrument that I always wanted to be associated with, and so I'm honored to have one of my own.
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks so much for sitting down, having a chat with us. All right, I'm Sergio. This is Brad Paisley. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thanks.